Greetings in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. I'm Andre and I'm here with Ed, and today we'll be reading the session from March 9th, 2024, the channeling transcript. And the topics are sexual energy and reprogramming, preincarnational programming, and ringing in the head, and a few others. All right. So, I am Kuo, and greet each in love and in light this afternoon. We have been with your circle of seeking for the time that you have been together, and we feel most inspired by the joy and love that circulates so freely within each entity here. It is something that we feel most honored to be part of, for we seek that joy and love of the one infinite creator that moves so abundantly today within the circle. And as we seek that love and joy, we have a certain way of expressing ourselves that you may call being those of your brothers and sisters who are also upon this journey of seeking the one creator within ourselves and within all beings. We have moved somewhat further along on this path perhaps than you, and we are hopeful that what we have to say will help you on your journey. But if any word or thought does not have that feeling of being useful on your path, we would ask you to ignore it and take only those words and thoughts that resonate with your own inner being. For your own inner being is that one infinite creator that moves and lives and breathes as do you, and it will let you know what words and thoughts are best for you. This frees us to speak in a way which we could not if you would not lay aside those thoughts that have no value. So with that having been said, we would ask if there's a query with which we may begin. T says, "Hi Kuo, this is T. I would like to ask if the discipline of the personality leading to the opening of the energy centers in regards to sexual energy transfer that Ross says, is the entire in it lies the entire system of the opening of the gateway to intelligent infinity, and that the higher transfers for the creator knowing itself, and a great beauty, solemnity, and wonder, and that time-space experience, and once that experienced, what is the best route to continue to pursue that path, to be aware of the transfers and how they're taking place." I'm Kuo, and I'm aware of your query, my sister. You have asked a query which is focusing upon one of the most powerful exchanges of energy that any entity in any density may partake in, for it is joining of two what you call seekers of truth, who are dedicating their lives in general, and the sexual energy exchange in particular, to the seeking and serving of the one creator within each of them, and within all of the creation. For as you seek to share the sexual energy exchanges, you're opening up the gateway to intelligent infinity that travels through each of the chakras. The chakra of the red ray, where there is the sexual reproduction, the survival of the being. Opening the orange ray of the self, the basic acceptance of the self and the personal, unique qualities, the eccentricities that make you one of a kind in the infinite universe, to the yellow ray of group energies and groups such as the group that blends together other various orange ray energies in service to the others in a more expanded fashion, and then to the heart chakra, that ability to see and feel and become and share the one infinite creator in all that you see about you. Oh, hey, Fred. Okay, well,
Hey,
we're
Fred.
just...
Hey guys.
We just started reading the session.
Awesome. I have to unload groceries, so I'll be about 3 minutes here.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just
All right.
hanging out.
Yeah. They're just covering some basics
what a cool
right
way
now.
to start out, though.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think? Like, just a good question. Kind of like the whole kind of sexual energy transfer thing is it talks about loads in the Laura one, and really, to be fair, it's quite a huge thing inside magic in general. So, like, the fact that they're straight up just bringing it down to what? Sorry. The fact they're just bringing it straight down to the chakras and the straight up, this is the metaphysical energies that we're supposed to be transferring between one another. I have high hopes. I like this stuff. This is some of the best bits, in my opinion. This once again comes down to all the energy work. It comes down to what we are.
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah, and I remember, one of the things is that you need to have at least the 4 the first four chakras, which they've just covered, balanced in order to even start doing sacred spirituality.
And then when you look at things like when you look at lots of chaos magic and lots of the kind of the paradigms that use, Aleister Crowley, was a big thing on, sex magic and that, and also Carla herself, she had a whole kind of sexualized, ritualistic process, didn't she? Really, so I think that this is all kind of quite fundamental to lots of magical work. So
Her book seems to convey that she had a fairly high libido.
Rob, dude.
Rob, hey, good to see you.
Hey, I missed about 3 seconds. My speaker wasn't on yet. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, love you guys. Thanks for being here again.
Yeah. We just started reading the session, and it's just talking about the first four sexual energy transfer and the first four chakras involved in it.
Yeah, when I saw the word sex, I knew I had to show up.
Oh, okay.
It's your marketing technique. Yeah.
Oh well, it's just being honest. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all right. We'll read a little bit more. The opening of the heart is the basic feature and facet and function of your third density illusion. From this center, you may springboard higher to the blue ray energy center, where there is the giving and receiving of honest communication, the feeling of the creator moving through you into inspiration, where there's the sharing of the nature of the creator, beginning to expand yet further into the indigo ray center, where you are indeed a portion of the logos, the intelligent energy that moves throughout the one creation and is a part of every feature of the creation.
Every feature.
Yes. And so so this is kind of like the giving and receiving of honest communication, in a sexual that would be like, oh yeah, I like that. Right, and then the giving and receiving with the creator is donating kind of the experience to the infinite creation, and as you are approaching or reaching orgasm, you are connecting with the creation and donating your experience to it, and then the creation is rejoicing with you, and so you get this kind of oscillation or growth in the experience, where you feel profound oneness with all creation at the that's where the oh God comes in of oh God, yes.
But imagine trillions and trillions of life forms all having an orgasm at the same time.
Yes. It's just that the thing is that this is like they're talking about sacred sexuality, right? There's many people that
it is
have
sacred, just by itself. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's just that many people can you can have sex just on the red ray without activating the other rays, and
right,
then it's just
sacred.
a purely physical act. Yes, but it doesn't have the other elements. So, for instance,
exactly,
the orange ray,
blue and indigo,
requires the acceptance of the self and the personal qualities and the eccentricities that make you one of a kind in the infinite universe, and that of your partner. And the yellow ray of group energies, groups such as the group blends together various orange ray in service to the others in a more expanded fashion. And this apparently Carla says that the yellow ray, it's like being married. So if you're married to your spouse or who you're experiencing this sexual energy transfer with, then that helps to kind of mend these energies so that they are working appropriately.
And I'm sitting here and I'm seeing how, red ray that's coming in basically from the earth too. So then imagine an ant, just a little the ant. It could have a version of orange ray of self in the ant level of stuff.
Yes.
And
Well,
then,
I don't know if
then it gets into the yellow group. It has the hive mind group activity, which it experiences, and then it might even have some degree of heart for the ant level of existence.
Well, I think that we're putting a lot on an ant.
No.
I
think personally, I think that is really the cutoff of where you reach sentience and where the heart chakra becomes available. Yeah, like if you were talking about an ant, an ant works basically like a single neuron. Yeah. Right? So it's the same. Yeah. So an entire ant hive is like one big brain.
Right.
Yeah, and each little ant goes off and it does its thing, but each one is an orange ray entity on its own.
Yes.
Yeah, but then it is part of a yellow ray entity being the hive.
Yes. It's a fractal dimension of its own right.
So the only one inside the ant hive that probably would have access to green ray would be the queen.
There's your queen.
Well, the Confederation doesn't acknowledge ants.
Oh, fuck no.
Or animals or plants.
They knew I was joking.
They do.
Achieving all these high levels.
Creatures.
But there are third density ants, there's the big ant aliens. We have those kinds of ants, and they could indeed have sacred sexuality.
When the Federation is talking to us through or Ra, they're also keeping it to a certain level of generality for the masses too. And they're not going to go like extra deep, so they make it sound like there is no, and having these personal experiences, because that's like giving away something too.
Well, I think personally, like animism all the way, right? Everything, panpsychism, everything has consciousness.
Everything does.
Every single thing. So if everything has consciousness, then it comes down to sentience. Yeah, sentience is the point where we've got heart chakra. Yeah,
but
you can't have any access to heart chakra without sentient understanding what you are.
Third density, the yellow ray. Okay, so yellow ray, where you are a separate entity, you feel yourself to be separate, and you have the veil. Okay, that's what separates second density and third density. Second density does not have the veil. They are part of the one infinite creator. They're part of that they have an eighth density oversoul managing their configurations. And then if you, as a third density entity or a higher, have a pet, and then you kind of pet it and give it love, and then it realizes that it is distinct from other entities, distinct from other cats, for example, then it can become a third density aware entity, and then it could incarnate with the veil, and then it would be a third density entity.
The human version of third density is what they're talking about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But still, second density entities still have consciousness. Yeah, yes. They don't have any kind of self-awareness as in third density, like heart chakra, like we are, because they don't have the veil. Instinctive state ruled by an oversoul at a much more fundamental level, where we're given the free will because we have the choice. Yeah, in third density, right?
Yeah, they don't have any separation from the creator.
Yes. You're of it.
There's gonna be as above, so below. There's going to be a version of the heart chakra on every level.
Exactly. Have you the whole kind of the Saint Germain thing where they talk about as you go up, you're supposed to bring your crown chakra down to the heart chakra, and then the heart chakra down to the root chakra, so that then you're just pulling in love into your system.
Yes.
The violet flame and all that. But that works on the same dynamics. This idea that that the chakras are kind of interchangeable depending on what density you're at, and like an ant could have access to all of them in theory. It just doesn't have the vessel to be able to connect that way.
Right. Its physicality might not accommodate such needs. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let's
love that.
finish this
Thanks, Ed.
answer here, and then I'll get a ChatGPT summary here.
Love you, Robert, dude. You rule.
Another thing that Ed, I got to notice that either now or soon, they will let the ChatGPT free users access RoboRaw. And then,
Yeah, Robo Raw.
yeah.
Honestly, Andre, man, Robo Raw. You're going to be remembered in the future for
Share the
Robo
link
Raw.
with you and test it maybe
Robo-Raw.
after the reading. Okay. This intelligent energy then provides a gateway to the violet ray chakra, that which resounds with the balance of the previous energy centers and also exposes one or reveals to one the sacred nature of each moment that you live in this creation. When you are able in your sexual relationship with another that has the same devotion to the one creator, and you dedicate the sexual energy exchange between the two of you to the seeking and serving of that one creator, not only within yourselves, but within every entity that you meet around you, then you are making a path to the creator that you may travel in your own experience of the sexual energy exchange, moving into the infinite realms of mystery, the mystery and the nature of the one infinite creator that is a part of you, and you are a part of it, and you are becoming one with all that is. This type of an energy exchange is that which moves each further along the path of seeking unity with the creator. For it is that which is the creator, that which is infinite in its mystery and expression of mystery. When you have exchanged these sexual energies and dedicated yourself to their sharing with all, then you have become part of that which you seek, the one infinite creator in each moment, in each experience, in each other entity that you meet, as you glow with the exchange of the power, the love, the joy, the passion, and the mystery of the one creator.
Having an orgasm.
Yeah, totally. Come on, the quote is so like beautifully like well spoken. Yeah, that's the most lovely way I've ever heard of an orgasm described ever. Okay, so one, I want Fred to jump in here, yeah, because Fred and I had a conversation during the week about a meditative place where when you meditate in a certain specific way, and you get up to that kind of that purple ray. You know, I often have it, or I have it like a little door that opens up in the top of my head, and I kind of come out the top of my head, yeah, and I go up into kind of what I assume is the infinite intelligence kind of like wavelengths. And when I've got there myself, my own personal experiences, you get there and it's like everything's this kind of like intense kind of purple vibratory thing, and it feels kind of like an orgasm.
Yeah.
Like you're floating around. You're floating around in an orgasm, and everything you move is like it's an orgasmic kind of everything is this vibratory feeling. And the only way I know how to describe it is that bliss feeling that Quo just described right there, where you feel connected to Creator because you are creating. You know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right?
You are given that ability by Creator
to feel like Creator being Creator.
So that means it's done on purpose to allow that union, that conversation between you and Creator. If you're having an orgasm, you're like conversing on a level.
Exactly. And that's why it has so much magical power.
Yes.
Yeah. It is the ultimate way of going directly to source.
Nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And you do it with you and that other person. It's the energies in a balance between what's that thing of the
Well, what they never mention is self-pleasuring. They never mention self-pleasuring, and if all is one, then you're really with others, even though you may be by yourself.
That's it.
Well, they do mention
masturbation to Creator.
They do mention it, and they say that there's different paths, and some people choose to hang on to their sexual energy, like on the path of celibacy, and some people choose to kind of dedicate it to experiencing the pleasure of it, and both of them are valid, and it's up to the person to decide.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I haven't seen the reference to that ever.
Yeah,
I haven't looked either.
I could dig it up probably, but it's there. It's there. I've read it.
I'm sure it is. Don't worry about it.
The spoke about it, but then they always say this. Their whole thing is about free will, right? You have the choice to do it this way. This has these merits. You have the choice to do it this way. This has these merits. But free will is do it how you see fit, what resonates. It's what the beauty of the Laura One, man. Like everything has its place, and it all has its value. And we're all creator after all, right?
All right, Richard, did you want to read this answer? I'll read the question. Then you can read the answer.
Fred.
Yes.
Or
Fred.
Yeah.
Before we carry on, is Fred here?
Had a question. Yeah. Fred. Yeah, Fred's here. I heard him say something.
Is he here? Fred. Okay, dude, come on, chime in here, man.
I just finished putting away groceries. I'm sorry, guys. I'm in tune now.
Okay,
I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm listening to you, and I actually, after we're done with reading this, I kind of wanted to, since we're all guys here, I kind of wanted to mention something and maybe get some input.
Right, Quo has just described your experience.
Yes, I know.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. That's why I was waiting for you to chime in before we moved on. Because this is exactly,
I didn't want to interrupt.
How synchronistic is this, dude?
I know synchronicities are weird, aren't they?
Right? It's mind blowing.
But I just
can you explain?
I'm sorry for my distraction. I came home and I was unloading groceries and I found that my dog got into my trash can, peed on the trash can, and he found my stash and ate it.
Oh no.
So luckily it's Friday and I got more stash today, so he didn't really bum my weekend or nothing, but man. So that's just what I dealt with in the last 5 minutes.
Well, my dog killed a rabbit this morning, which was out of character too.
Oh yeah. Well, dogs are predators. They're carnivores.
Yeah,
part of the carnivora clad.
He was a murderous thug this morning. So your little dude was acting all alley thug too.
He's running around outside like a maniac right now, just running around my house like crazy. So maybe he'll be really tired tonight and he'll sleep.
Yeah, he's gonna get the munchies bad, dude. You better get that dog
it's
food
last
ready.
Quarter right now. I don't know.
I was gonna say if we wanted to talk about that thing Fred was talking about, we could stop the recording maybe because it sounds too personal to be recorded.
You know what? I don't care.
No, dude.
Next lunar descending node is June 1st.
Honestly, it's a wonderful experience, dude.
That may be why the dogs are having some trouble.
Because of what?
The next lunar descending node. So, the eclipses, they happen on ascending nodes and descending nodes. And so there's going to be a descending node. And apparently, you're not supposed to do like agricultural tasks within ascending nodes or descending nodes. And
thanks.
Mm-hmm. And like the fishermen find that the fish don't bite when it's an ascending or a descending node, and things like that. So there's like a bunch of it's one of those weird lunar phenomenon. So that may be why you have.
Anyways,
Fred, so go ahead. Tell us what the synchronicity is and how it relates to this material.
Okay. I've been studying more and more about the pineal gland, so I wanted to find a pineal gland concentrated meditative practice in order to try and jumpstart that a little bit to get more fluid flowing. What I found is that if you increase the fluid in your spinal fluid flow to your brain, like forcibly, kind of like when you force your breath or you force other things in your body, it helps to cleanse your pineal gland and also it activate certain things with the crystalline structure of it. So I've been reading Joe Dispenza, and I found out he has a very specific pineal gland meditative practice that it's like 30 minutes, 25 minutes. So I tried it. And in the meditative practice, you are to concentrate on your breathing, as most meditations are, but very concentrated on your breathing, visualizing energy coming up through your root chakra and going up out through your crown chakra. And at the same time, you are physically constraining all of your abdominal muscles. Now, with a man, it would be the muscles that you use to basically the ones you use to pee and poop. With a woman, it would be considered your Kegel muscles. So depending on your gender would determine exactly what muscles you're contracting when you do the meditation. Well, I went through the meditation. I wasn't sure if I was even doing it correctly, but I was very relaxed and focusing on my, it takes a minute to get used to the kind of pushing of the abdominal muscles and everything. It takes a minute, but I think I got it down. At the end of the 25-minute meditation, I had an orgasm.
Wow.
So I was very surprised, very not shocked, but I was surprised. I'm like, was that what I think it was? Oh shit, yes it was. So I was a little taken aback by it, but at the same time, I assumed that I was doing it correctly then, or at least getting closer to doing it correctly.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's a sign.
So I would imagine that applies somewhat to what we're talking about.
You did
Yes.
it spot
Yes,
on,
it
dude.
is.
Absolutely correct.
Spot
Yes,
on.
you did it correctly, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
First time trying it.
First time.
I'm just saying that's why it was very important that he chimed in, because it clearly shows, that if you go up that chakra activation process, you get to that top one, you shoot yourself out the top of your head, somebody shoots out somewhere else as well.
You got stuff coming out both the tops of your heads.
Both heads. Shoot in all direction.
I had to say it.
That's beautiful. That it really is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Anyway, the synchronicity, of us talking about that, and then this all being brought up.
And me seeing a video on YouTube this morning of a guy talking about his technique on opening the pineal body using Joe Dispenza's method. Another synchronicity.
What?
Yeah.
He did.
What's
I
Joe
bet you're going to try it
Dispenza's
now, dude.
I was trying a different version this morning without all the muscular straining, but I got to do that. I got to try that muscular.
I can share I think I can share from YouTube the meditation that I did with Joe Dispenza in the group, probably, right?
Mix that with Pornhub, you got a great night.
Just
you don't even need Pornhub.
Something you got to be careful.
Yeah, you don't need it. All right. So, are we ready for the next question?
It's happened twice, dude. I've seen it happen twice. You mention that 4-letter word, something happens.
It's too funny. Sorry.
That's where are we? Wait a minute, hold a second here. This is fun. Okay, I'm collecting. Yeah, we're good. I'm good.
Okay, you're good? All
Yeah.
right. Okay, so here, the review of it was red ray, linked to survival, orange ray, self-acceptance, yellow ray, group energies, green ray, experiencing sharing unconditional love, blue ray,
Ants communicate too in group. They have like a little blue ray.
There's those extraterrestrial ants, right? And they do have, all of these experiences. So I mean, all forms of animal bodies have experienced third density, as far as I can tell. Like, there's third density octopi and third density bears and third density dogs and cats and all sorts. Okay,
Did you see
We're
they
just
just made it
third-density
illegal
monkeys,
in the U.S. to eat octopus?
Really?
Oh, yeah, they did that in Europe. I saw a what do you call it, Chinese lady who got upset because she was eating a live octopus and it bit her.
Yeah.
she was chewing on its like tentacle, and
On
then
its-
it like
oh.
went on her face and it bit into her face.
Good.
And she was like, "Ah, my food is eating me."
I'm on Team Octopus.
It's like, well, what do you expect? It's like it's alive. Don't do that. Anyways, all right. So
That's
next
why I
question.
won't eat calamari too.
Yeah, fair enough.
I had to say, octopus tastes horrible. I don't know why anyone would eat it.
Right.
I don't know. It's not that bad. But it's kind of bland. I don't know. I know there's a lot of
They're too
it's
intelligent.
controversial. It's controversial. Just are the headaches that I've been experiencing during this time, are they correlated to this experience, the sexual energy experience? All right, Richard.
I don't have a screen to look at.
Oh, sorry. Am I talking Robert?
I
I meant
see
to say
it.
Robert. I'm so sorry.
Did me? What? Yeah.
Oh, were you gonna read
I-
the quote?
I can do it.
Usually,
I
like-
could if Fred isn't able.
Oh, okay.
Is that a go?
Yeah, I have
Fred?
a blank screen. When I click on Andre's screen, it's a blank screen.
Oh,
When you,
weird.
if you catch up, Fred, with the screen, just let me know and I can stop reading.
Okay.
I am Quo, and I am aware of your query, my sister. We find that there is a certain amount of information that we may give without infringing upon your free will. For what you are experiencing is a portion of the exchange of sexual energy, which is moving into the indigo ray energy center. In this energy center, it is necessary to do work in consciousness, shall we say, the work which reveals more and more of yourself to yourself as the one creator. This is the work you do when you move throughout your daily round of activities and interact with various entities that you may or may not know, and in some fashion make a connection so that there is the sharing of this love and the one creator. But if there is any type of blockage of energies that you can share with another being, then there is work to be done in the balancing of the difficult energy, the lack of love, the partaking in what seems to be separation, so that the energies of the sexual energy exchanges that you have experienced are then more able to move freely through that indigo ray intelligent energy center. This is the work of a lifetime for many, and for many is only that which they aspire to. For this is the work of the adept. Is there a further query, my sister?
No, thank you. All right. So you guys want to discuss that? I'm not even.
That
100%
was
sure.
pretty intense, though. That, to me, that was like, because
Mm-hmm.
that was part of my job. I put in a 2-week notice on a job yesterday. So I'm like,
Oh yeah. So
Part-
what was?
part of it's
Relate to
dealing
us.
with the public too, and I can't handle it all the time. But yeah, it was
Oh,
Habitat for Humanity. Yeah, I shouldn't say that really. Don't associate me with them.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyways, so apparently this was about understanding the spiritual connection between headaches and sexual energy exchange.
But then it was talking about how people, your use of the sexual energy on your day-to-day contact with others.
Mm-hmm.
It was talking about like sharing that energy through the communication or the love example you become.
Well, it says interacting with others. Oh my gosh. With others and sharing love helps in balancing and clearing energy blockages. So I think that as long as you're processing the catalyst effectively, then it shouldn't be causing you problems. Blockages may manifest as headaches or other physical symptoms indicating areas needing attention. So that is my understanding as well, that oftentimes, like when I get a headache, it's because I'm putting too much pressure on myself, or where I feel conflicting feelings about something.
Yeah, I don't get headaches. If I do, it's a toothache.
Oh, weird. No, I've had, long history of headaches, and they used to be really bad. And then mushrooms help with relieving migraines, and so after that,
Yeah.
I haven't had them anymore. But so praise be
Okay,
to God.
I don't really get the connection between the headaches and the sexual contact with people in day-to-day life, because this to me seems like one of these things, one of these Confederation teachings of seriously, you guys need to stop being so hung up about relationships. Yeah, spread the love around people.
I don't think that's what they're trying to get at here.
Because look, this is a recurring theme. This is not a new thing. Yeah, right. Look at that Esmeralda. What's it called? The crucifixion of whatever it is.
Esmeralda, yeah.
Yeah, the girl in the bar, and she's like, but all of those people wanted to mate with me. That's my duty to be of service.
Remember Venus.
Yes,
planet Venus.
I think that was more peculiar. That wasn't really true Confederation. That was
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Ross said
Dawn and Carla.
Venus, Ra and Venus. Venus was a very loving planet.
Fair enough. Yes, it is quite possible. There's some of that.
There is that. It's in their memory. It's in Ra's makeup. Is that being so loving that it's you could have sex in the morning before you leave for work, and sometime during your work day you meet somebody who you connect with also, and you're exchanging this love energy that we have no concept of in our society right now.
I kind of wish Trev and what's her name? Sherry were here, because this really ties in with them massively. Yeah, because this whole idea that Ra talks about, kind of like getting over the ownership and the kind of the locking in thing. That's yellow ray, and the above green ray, all of those kind of relationship ownership things aren't the same. And I think that's their whole thing with the whole kind of polygamy thing, right?
Right. It's
they're doing the polygamy thing.
Love the one you're with if you love that person.
But this is the point. Like the shame in it, and all the kind of the ownership and the negative aspects of what we apply to that.
Right.
Yeah, teachings like this from the Confederation, to me, they kind of say we just need to drop all those things.
Exactly.
That love is the purest form of communication, and all of the horrible things that go along they're all horrible things. We shouldn't be. They shouldn't be part of it.
Love thy neighbor as thyself.
Excuse me. What was that, Fred?
Love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yeah, it goes back to that even.
Bonobo style.
So, my understanding, I've read a lot of the Confederation material, and they are very consistently saying one relationship for spiritual growth. For the vast majority of people, they respect free will, but there is a bias within the logos that promotes one-on-one relationships, so like one man, one woman,
they
or whatever.
realize the intensity of the free will infringement upon us if they let us know as sexually perverted creatures that multiple relationships is okay if you do it with a certain level of wisdom. They don't want to even mention that because they're afraid to tell us it might be okay. We're nuts.
I mean, look what happened when they gave us crystal technology.
That's not why. That's not why at all. No, they explain it's because if you're with one person for a long time, then you have what do you call it? they are more used to you, you're more used to them, and then they know your kind of ways of trying to get out of different situations, and they're on to you, and so they're better at grinding down your catalyst, and finding your rough edges and smoothing them out. And that's why having a long-term relationship between, like, with one other person is so much more intense and so much more spiritual growing. Because if you have a relationship with many people, you have shallow relationships. But if you have a relationship with one other person over a long period of time, then you can have a much deeper relationship, and you can get much more on each other's nerves. And then that gives much more opportunity for forgiveness, love, and kindness in a variety of situations.
Okay,
That's actually what causes a lot of the shit show in relationships that fail. People, the culture has it so that I don't feel happy, so you just leave.
Right.
Then
And they're opposed to that.
Yeah.
The Confederation is opposed to
no
that.
wonder.
They say that if you do that, you will end up in the exact same situation with someone else eventually. And you will have to learn how to deal with this situation and these feelings eventually. So you might as well deal with them in this relationship and stay with your life partner, rather than jumping over to someone else for another shallow relationship until you get to the same point and then decide to not learn that lesson again.
What if you reach the apex of the relationship with another, and you two are so comfortable with each other that you can include other people, and you work on it, and your catharsis is tripled?
Well,
so
I'm sure that there's exceptions to every rule, but for the
what
general
I'm
rule,
getting at, though, in my view of the hidden
especially
hand,
in our short lives,
that Ra is 90% correct, or the Confederation. And I've read, I think Bashar said that too, that the Ra contact is like 90% correct. There's some belief on that. And I think it's in the 10% that's incorrect, saying that it's should be focused only on one individual.
Well, they say there's room for free will, okay, but just for the majority of people, it is the most beneficial.
Because of the animals we are right now. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, yes. It's also because they mentioned that we just have such short lives. There's no way we could plumb the depths of experience of just even one other person.
Who was that Chinese guy that lived 256 years, and died in 1930 or 33? He had 14 wives over his lifetime.
Yeah. There are. I mean, like, we can live up to 900, but even if you live up to 900 years, it's one other person is still enough.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Well, I'm sure he only had 14 wives because they died. He didn't.
Yes.
Yeah. I know Peng Zhu, he had he lived to be 800 something, and he had like 34 wives and many, many children. And, he was upset because, they kept dying and aging on him and stuff like that. But he knew how to process catalyst really well.
So the whole thing on this whole thing, they do say that relationships are better than than not being in relationships, because of the fact that you provide more catalyst between a relationship than any other situation. But I think that applies in the fact that we are here to learn lessons of love. We're here for the green ray experience. That's why relationships are so important.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go above green ray, you keep going up. That actual relationship dynamic that we have here, that's based a lot on possession and, like I was saying about Sherry and Trevor and all that, that dynamic falls away completely. Yeah, because that isn't what it's supposed to be.
Well, fifth density.
In the Confederation teachings as well, it's also been described as like a prison. There's lots of other references where it's not spoken about in a particularly good way, but it's spoken about in the way that we need it because of the catalyst. Not that it's particularly good. And moving forward, not that we particularly need it. Yeah,
Well,
if anything, we're talking about opening up and connecting up to far more consciousnesses than just two. When you get into the higher density.
Fourth density is unconditional love for all beings. You know, the mated relationship is for growing personally because your spouse knows you better than anyone else.
In my life, I've had lots of issues with relationships, where I've dived in with full force with unconditional love for my partner. Yeah. Now, this is something that also the quote that talked about, because it really resonated with me. Yeah. That this is kind of a mistake, because we're here to learn lessons of love, that green ray, open heart chakra, love for everything, all things, right? Right. But in a relationship, that's not quite how it works. Yeah. You have to have discernment. Yeah. Inside a relationship, you have to have the catalyst. Yeah. Because this isn't love for creator, although it is love for creator, because you have to balance that with love for self, because you're in a dynamic relationship with another other self, right? So that loop of you having to kind of push through in a relationship against all of these things, this catalyst over and over and over again, to kind of really learn those lessons of love. Yeah, right. Like I said, moving up the scale to say blue ray and then indigo ray, which is what they were talking about in the thing. Yeah. I think that basically all of those dynamics that we challenge ourselves in the green ray mated relationship dynamic, those are just testing grounds so that we are able to open up our heart chakra to all. Because we've challenged ourselves in so many ways, through our life, through all the different people we interact with, the people we love and that know us, that get really deep in, and like you were saying, Andre, and like the deeper you go into a relationship, the harder they can push those buttons.
Yes, exactly.
Like all of that stuff. That's how we learn those lessons about ourselves. Yeah, to come to terms with self, come to terms with any negative emotions and shame and everything else, because they're challenged. Yes. And then once you get out,
so that's the perks. Those are that's the whole point of the relationship, is that.
But this is the point. The point is once you learn those things about yourself, then you are ready to open up your heart chakra universally.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter at that point what anybody says, what anybody brings to you. Yeah, because you've already defeated and challenged all of those things about self that could be brought to you if you would just open your heart chakra up to the universe and say, "Here I am, everything." But that is the next step up. Yeah, and the relationships and the mated coupling that we have here is just kind of training for building social memory complexes moving forwards. Yeah, where our consciousnesses and our lives interact and connect to the point where our heart chakras are open and laid bare, and the other person interacts and connects with them in ways that you learn more about yourself. To the point where it doesn't matter who interacts with that heart chakra. Yeah, because you are self, and that interaction is you've learned those lessons, you've grown.
Then it reaches a certain critical mass too on the collective level, where it's all of a sudden like part of the psyche of the planet. If you can get enough people to be doing that, So then the whole planet, nation and nation, are doing it. Welcome, Bill.
Yeah. How are you doing? We're just we were just talking about relationships. We kind of got off topic here.
Oh, that was perfectly on topic.
But you still fine. All right, close enough.
I want to say for the audience that I'm perceiving may be watching this, there was not a disagreement there. We agree with what Andre is saying, but we're putting it on other levels too. It's an evolving thing.
I've no argument whatsoever. I'm saying that right
I know.
now,
I was trying to say that.
Now,
I just said that.
Yeah, yeah, there's no argument. I'm just trying to kind of add depth and like layers to it, like
Fair enough.
the reason we're here is exactly what Andre said, 100%.
Yeah.
But that's to learn lessons so that when it moves upwards and whatever, it's more about what you were saying, Robert, where, if you reach an apex of trust in a relationship, then why wouldn't you be open with heart chakras to whatever other situation?
And I
think that
performed
does hint at that.
blasphemy of the religion.
Federation do hint at that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you exactly why, Ed, because that is kind of, I'm not going to go into any detail, but if both people aren't on the same level and the same understanding of the function and possibilities and different aspects of the arrangement and the agreements and the actions, all hell breaks loose and you end up divorced and
threatened for
you know,
years.
or worse. I know. I know.
I agree with you. I agree 100%, right? And that's why I wish that Trevor and Sherry were here.
Yeah,
honestly,
me too.
They will outright tell everybody how all of this can work in real life because they're doing it.
Well,
And they have their own problems.
AI
they
is
don't,
too
they
strong
don't
a
have
catalyst for them,
they're
so
open
they're unable
and
to
trusting in
attend.
what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You're muted, Bill, if you're talking.
yeah. Here, let's read a little more so Bill can feel a little more involved here.
Yeah, sorry, dude. Sorry.
Okay. Yes, Kuo. Within LL, there are 4 members who attune and tap into the channel source Kuo. By contrast, there seems to be a growing number of individuals who also channel various sources, perhaps Kuo, I don't know. Can you explain how to develop this ability in an individual as an individual channeler?
Is Fred ready to read yet, or should I? He's eating. Okay.
Oh, he's eating now. Okay. All right. You want to read it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I am Quo, and I am aware of your query, my brother. This is a query which has many facets that would be time-consuming to go into in detail. We can suggest that if you wish to become a channel of the type that sits within this room at this time, that there is a process that one goes through in order to do this. However, it is a process which takes what you call time and will be that which is of use to you only if you are able to join this group. And this group, for this time being, has moved its ability to accept new members to a future date when perhaps there will be another group that would form. If you wish to channel your own inner guides, however, and are aware of their presence within your being and how they may wish to speak through you, this you may do on your own. For your guides are a portion of you, a higher portion of you, sometimes the higher self, sometimes the male or the female guide, or the androgynous guide. So there are 4 potential possibilities for your ability to seek their contact, perhaps in meditation, perhaps in contemplation or prayer, so that you may become aware of their presence within your being and become aware of concepts, perhaps, or words or images that you can take into your own mind and emotions and spirit to consider as those feelings and communications that come from a higher portion of yourself. A portion of yourself that is beyond the veil of forgetting, that sees the creation as unity created by the one infinite creator, using the power of love and manifesting as what you see the material objects about you in this world that you live in. This is the most available and most easily accessible kind of channeling that you may do. There are many, however, as you have mentioned, that channel various entities or beings that may or may not be of a positive nature, that utilize some positive concepts to become accepted by the one channeling, and then at some point within the channeling, turned the corner, shall we say, to move into more dark areas of experience and information. Thus, this is not a potential that we would recommend for you to pursue. Is there a further query, my brother?
No, thank you. All right. So let's, I guess, discuss that for now.
That one
Anyone
gave me
wants to?
chills reading it.
Fair enough.
Hey, Andre,
Yeah.
when was this Kuo made? Is this a recent one?
April 9th of this year.
Ooh, day
Wait,
after eclipse.
I think
January,
I read
February, March. March 9th. Sorry, March
March.
9th.
Okay,
March 9th.
all right. I think I read this one.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Sure.
It had
So
sex.
what would their definitions vary between being an entity, or would it just be would it be like a polar duality thing, or like, when they say light love, or they say, like teach learn, is it something like that, or are they different things?
What are you referring to?
Being
as in-
and
Self-channeling.
So if you're channeling your higher self, you're connecting with your inner planes, your inner plane guides. And if you're doing the outer planes, then you have to do the challenging process. The outer planes you go up, the inner planes you go down. That's
Or
the
out.
difference. Well, you go in, right? The inner planes. It's kind of like, my understanding is the inner planes are like inside the earth. And the outer planes are like in the sky, like the Confederation ships and the Orion ships. They're all up there, and they, and then they can. That's why you always have to challenge them and say, do you come in the love and light of the one infinite Creator, or do you come in the name of Jesus Christ, or whatever resonates with you as the
what
most
about
service to
when
other polarity.
they're talking about, going a step down from like channeling a being in and of itself? What about when you do not necessarily, I would say, rumination, but contemplation and concentrating on something, and like, how when you learn something and you're kind of actually in shock learning it, and you have to integrate that into your already established understanding of reality, understanding of everything, your belief systems, everything. You have to kind of ruminate on that. Is that a form of channeling technically, or are you like what you're talking about with you're dealing with your inner planes?
Okay, dude. Can I
Ed has
jump in?
something.
Right, it mentions in there, yeah, that you've got choices of where you can channel. Yeah, you can channel from your higher self. Yeah, the higher self is basically, essentially, your oversoul, the thing that you connect to in a bigger, a spiritual sense than you. Yeah. Then you've got that would be your best route of doing that would be the inner planes, as in looking inward. Yeah. Now that inward doesn't go down into the ground. That inward goes into the oversoul, into the subconscious, the one that connects all of us. That's the inner work. Yeah, the kingdom of heaven is within. Yeah, it's not out there somewhere. Yeah, it's within you. Yeah, those are inner planes, right? The things that you put yourself consciously there, but they're in you. They're places you. Anyway, whereas the outer things that are other conscious entities that exist outside of you, that aren't part of your soul entity, that aren't part of your body, that they're part of something else outside of that you then need to communicate with via this body, right? So when you're talking something on the inner planes, you're talking to your higher self, that's the oversoul or whatever. But it also says you've got the masculine and the feminine, and then the androgynous self, right? So if you think about the masculine self, is what you're talking about, Fred. Is the conscious, logical thinking your way through things. Yeah. The feminine self is in the intuitive, the right brain, left brain understanding of things, right? So you've got one of them that's all logical and whatever else, and you've got the other one that's intuitive, that's that is this connection to the greater consciousness and the knowingness, as it were, right? The vibrational understanding, yeah. And then you've got like sorry, Andre, did you want to jump in there or?
Yeah. Oh well, it's just My personal experience is that like they're like spirit guides,
Okay,
and
yeah, I agree.
you
So let me
like
just
that
finish
you
quick.
can have
Yeah,
a
let me just
feminine
finish quick.
spirit
So
guide,
you've got the
you can have a
masculine and
masculine
feminine
or an
type.
androgynous
Yeah.
one.
Now, sorry. Let me just finish quick because I get what you're saying.
Go ahead.
So you've got, but the masculine and feminine type being different ways that you think about it, intuitive and whatever. Those personified in in entities, as it were. Yeah, in inner entities. Yeah, would be your masculine and feminine guide. Right now, in alchemy, they say that the whole point is the alchemical wedding. Yeah, of getting the masculine and the feminine, getting them perfectly to combine into an androgynous form, yeah, which is the same idea as when you get the twin flames and you get masculine and feminine of the same soul that are then supposed to combine to make an angel. It's all this same kind of dynamic that is played out and Carla, because I say Carla talks about this when in the channeling training thing she does. So she has a thing where she says basically you go in. She uses the what's it called, the silver mind control technique thing, where you build your mind palace and then you have the screens up. And she basically had two doors next to it. One door would go to the masculine side of her brain, the other one to the feminine side. And then in meditation, she'd ask a question on the screen, and then she'd have either a masculine or a feminine guide that would come out and give her answers. And in the androgynous one, I'm assuming would be the alchemical wedding of you understanding fully both of them inside yourself. Yeah, and then the higher self being the oversoul, looking at all your maths you're working out using free will. I'm assuming.
Sounds perfect to me.
I hope you kept up. I have to apologize. It was all on topic though.
Okay. All right.
Sounded right on to me, Ed.
So, are we? Did that answer everyone's questions?
Yeah, that was perfect. That makes very good sense to me. So, then I would have to say then when we when we do speak to our higher self, is it possible or whatever that higher self is a part of other people too, or is that higher self our own individual higher self because we're separate here on earth right now and we're each individual mind, body, spirit, or is it a little bit of both?
So at least my personal experience is that my spirit guide is a separate entity from me, but she is my inner planes guide, and for whatever, like, I'm very masculine, and so I don't really want to talk to someone that's also masculine as a spirit guide. I mean, like, I have, you know, I know, like, the librarian is in the past life, library, or the Akashic records, is a male, and I'm okay with that. But as my personal spirit guide, the one that I'm kind of like is my go-to person, is a female, and she has a different soul lineage than me. But she's a spirit guide. That's kind of like her job is in the soul world, is that she's got several students or whatever, and like, I'm one of the ones asking questions, and so she's like helping me out. That's how it is.
I'd say that isn't
Oh,
I wouldn't say
actually,
that was your higher self, dude. I'd say that you've got an ascended master, an actual teacher helping you. And can I say that both masculine, feminine, and higher self, well, not higher self so much, masculine, feminine, and spirit guide kind of thing, all of those appear as my little gink fox, my little fox.
oh, okay.
Like my little servitor, he kind of takes on and embodies so many of these different energies. And then it comes down to kind of what pattern appears on his forehead to kind of who he's representing in at whatever time. It's kind of cool.
Hi, Ashley.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, we're just reading the session and chatting on related topics, and we were just talking about spirit guides and things. I don't know if you want to chip in on that. Otherwise, we'll probably go on to the next question.
Oh, you can go on the next question.
Okay. All right. So, yes, Kuo, my understanding is that before we are born, we make pre-incarnational plans about the challenges we will face in the length of our life. Is it possible to renegotiate these agreements during our incarnation? For instance, if someone has a serious illness and wants to live longer in order to perform more service to others for a longer time, can that person extend their life or change the course of their illness? All right, Ashley, did you want to read the answer?
I'm on phone. I'm trying to see
Oh.
if I can. Let me see if I can see your screen.
You can if you want. Otherwise, we could get Robert to read.
Don't sound so happy.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I'm happy to have you read. It's just I know Ashley likes to read too.
I
So,
can see you full screen now.
Oh, Fred, go ahead.
Okay.
Ashley,
I
can
am
read the next one.
Quo.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I am Quo, and I'm aware of the query, my brother. We offer our appreciation for the heart from which this query comes, for we understand that within your density, shrouded with the veil of forgetting, the elements that go into your experiences that generate catalysts of a difficult nature, the journey, can be confusing. And the desire to discern how these catalysts influence you and how you can relate to them is indeed an essential part of the path of the spiritual seeker. We would offer some information regarding the notion as presented within the query that decisions are made prior to the incarnation. For this is indeed true, that the seeker and the seeker's higher self, along with perhaps other components of what you would call the guidance system of the seeker, take an immaculate microscope, you might say, to the plans offered to the seeker prior to the incarnation, in the landscape into which the seeker hopes to incarnate, discerning the various possibilities and probabilities for the seeker. It is impossible, you may say, to plan an incarnation with 100% certainty. There are various components to the incarnation that can be decided upon that the entity and the entity's higher self desires, that the incarnated entity who has forgotten these plans might relate to these circumstances in certain ways so that it generates a certain type of catalyst and thus allows the seeker to grow in the desired way. However, the advent of the veil of forgetting extends a particular quality of free will to the incarnated entity. And in a certain way, you can view this incarnated entity as having its own distinct free will. For it has forgotten these plans and can choose freely to relate to these circumstances in any manner that it desires. And sometimes the plans, you may say, go in a different direction than was initially desired. And then new circumstances come into the picture. So we paint this picture so that there is an understanding that not every single circumstance is preordained necessarily. Each type of circumstance, each desire for a certain type of catalyst does not contain a level of magnetism of probability so that whatever the lesson is, or the desire to learn may be, certain circumstances may manifest. Some of these circumstances known and planned before the incarnation, and some perhaps novel but speaking to the same type of learning that is desired. The key component of this dynamic, as we are sharing with you, is the notion that these circumstances come to the entity in order to learn a certain type of lesson. These circumstances don't necessarily need to take any particular form, so long as the seeker is able to discern within those incarnated circumstances a particular type of catalyst that will transform the seeker in a desired way. It is this desire that is an overriding component of this equation. The desire outside of the incarnation to transform and learn and to experience the Creator in a particular way. And so within the incarnation, there may be some circumstances that are attempting to teach a certain lesson. And the free will of the incarnated entity may indeed utilize certain tools available to the entity to change these circumstances, or, as you say, renegotiate the circumstances. However, this renegotiation, we would say, is most effective and successful if the lessons are ascertained and the catalyst is grasped and utilized to the greatest extent that it can be. Otherwise, even if such a renegotiation may seem successful from the incarnated point of view, the circumstances may arise wishing to present themselves to the seeker in order that the seeker learn the same lesson that was, quote unquote, renegotiated. So, indeed, this dynamic that you have presented of a renegotiation is possible. And certain plans that were desired prior to the incarnation can be transformed.
Fred? Fred froze. Okay, I guess I'll continue reading here. But the overriding desire of the entity outside of the incarnation and the higher self understanding, the ultimate destination of the entity, will continue to manifest in various ways. And we can only recommend that in each circumstance, no matter how it presents itself, how desirable or undesirable, contains within it the love and light of the one infinite creator. And the most overwhelming desire for any entity within any incarnation within the third density is that the entity seek that love and that light within those circumstances presented to it. And even if this is unsuccessful, even if the love and light is not ascertained, the simple act of seeking it indeed resounds to the core of that entity, and that entity's plan within that incarnation, and the transformation that you're hinting at within your query becomes possible. Okay.
Sorry, did my audio cut out?
Yeah, your audio cut out there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my phone.
Shame, dude, because I was really loving it, man.
Yeah, it was good reading.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can I just quickly start off? Yeah,
Go ahead.
This is maybe one of my favorite concepts in the whole of the Laura One.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because one of the main things that I got stuck on is this idea of destiny and everything being preordained. You know, like I don't like that. What's the point of life if everything's preordained? We're just actors playing out a role then. Yeah, there has to be free will. Now, if God's in control of everything, yeah, then where does free will come in? You know, every single other spiritual system you can look at, every single one, you've got these rules to follow, blah 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 blah. That if you don't fit in, bad stuff happens, right? But then in the Laura One, all of that is taken away. There's no one punishing you. There's no one trying to like say you've got to do this or you've got to do that. No, it's all just exactly how it should be, free will. But there is a point. We're here to learn stuff, right? So you have to have a lesson plan. You have to have what you've got to learn in your life to do. You know, and you've got to have that set because that's what you've got to do. But you know, you can't. But you can't know all. You can't know it all. Otherwise, what's the point of doing it? You know, so you know, you've got to set a plan. Go and do the plan. Good, we've got a plan. Right? That's free will. That's you setting a plan. Right? That's not anyone. Now, what you're doing is you're basically asking Creator to give you that lesson. And then when you come into this life, the veil ensures that we then get to actually live the whole experience with free will again. Yeah, because of the fact that we don't know what the plan is. We don't know why we're here. We have to be guided by what resonates with us, by who we connect with and the things we learn in our life and the experiences we go through to find our path, to find our way to the thing that we need to learn, you know, that we're here to do, right? And we can choose not to. And that right there is my favorite thing. No other religion does it. Anyway, sorry, Robert. Jump in, dude.
No, I just wanted to add one little comment to that because that was, you know, the way it is. We're also we're fortunate to be here, now, as it's almost like a sacrifice for the betterment of creator's understanding of self.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
But that's it. That's what we are. All we are is these vessels of creator understanding itself at every single level and density of complexity.
And imagine the honor of knowing that creator is like, you right now are you're the chosen one for that experience that you are having. This is freaking awesome.
Once again, the hero's journey
also,
again, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
wanted to say hi to Ray because Ray joined us.
Hey, Ray,
Hi,
you're
Ray.
awesome, dude.
All right.
And Ashley, did you get my text?
Me? The text?
Yes.
No.
So, well, I got the review here. Points for seekers. Life plans made before incarnation. Contain various possibilities and probabilities. The main thing is the spiritual lesson. The role of free will.
I want
lets
to
us
get in
choose.
real. I'm acting like a moderator, sort of, because I kind of do that on Unity of Love and Light Facebook site.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Hi,
Fair enough.
everybody.
I would love.
Ray.
Hey Ray. I would love to be able to see the pictures of Ashley and Ray if you can, please.
Okay. Illness and challenging
Pictures?
circumstances serve as catalysts for learning specific lessons. Yeah, I know. Like pre-incarnative choices can give people, like say, for instance, if they're born with cerebral palsy or something, that makes their life very difficult and frustrating. But it also helps them learn to be more resilient and patient, and it can help them be more compassionate to other people who may have such a difficult life or situation. And so it's kind of an opportunity for the spiritual learning to happen. And so in theory, if the person was to learn all the lessons that they needed to from that particular life situation, then they could their brain or whatever could heal, and then they would no longer have the symptoms anyways.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know, but I feel like so much of my life, I'm now recognizing has been pre-incarnative choice, or it's been things brought over from past life, experience, and I'm only kind of noticing the difference between what I've learned in my life and that stuff that I've always had. That's different, and I'm only kind of starting to recognize the difference now. Kind of, there's things about me that I've always had, that have always been there, that have never seemed to have the right cause, or never really kind of, no matter what I've tried to do, they've never gone away or whatever. They've always been there, and that's providing the same catalyst, And it's only since realizing what they are that catalyst is really been relevant to my life, Like, for example, I've got dyslexia. Yeah. Now I'd say that from my experience, from what my soul group, from what I've cobbled together of understanding wise, there's a reason I'm dyslexic. Yeah, to stop me from being able to do specific types of maths or specific types of things that would lead me down a negative path, right? Then there's other things like I have eczema, right? My eczema is purely connected to my past life, and I know that when I actually I'm thinking about catalysts that is directly from that, I seem to get stress related from my eczema, which once again then it ties back to all these same lessons that you can't get away from. Those pre-incarnative catalysts, you can't get away from them. They'll keep coming back. Now you can renegotiate the deal, you can cut the ties, you can violet flame, what you like. You're still here to learn those lessons.
Yeah, well, the main thing is learning the lessons.
That's it. And
right, and
Bill,
dude,
Okay.
may come in different form. All right.
Can I
go ahead, Ray?
So I wanted to explain my perspective on on two things on how people think that, and different religions think that everything is preordained, and how it's possible for that to be possible, but along with free will. Okay, and Ra explains it, and when he talks about boxes of cereal. Okay, let's say there's 100 boxes of cereal, just as a really bland example, okay, to choose from. Now, this also works into the group mind of the planet and the Akashic records all in one. Is that, has anybody ever heard of the term, there is nothing new under the sun, from the Bible?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's a very common expression.
And so what they're referring to, I believe, and what Rod talks about, is that we have the free will to choose which box of cereal that we want to have for dinner that night. Okay? But out of the 100 boxes of cereal, you get to choose one, and that's your choice. And this is kind of how consciousness works, I think, is that as we go along in life, we make our decisions, we have actions, and we choose based on the selection that is available to us. Now, this is, in a sense, preordained, and that there are only 100 boxes of cereal, okay? And so, but in your free will, at the moment, in the moment, you choose what that's going to be. And I hope I'm not losing myself here on this. I'm really trying to explain this in a way that makes sense.
We appreciate your input too. Thank you.
Yeah. And so we do. We have free will. We do have pre-incarnated choices that we've had. And those situations are going to continue to develop until we process that catalyst, one way or another, whether it be positive or negative. And that's our choice to do that by choosing that certain box or certain choice of action. And so that's how free will and everything existing all at once at the same time is. That's why we have free will. We have free will to choose those boxes. And and the Creator will continue to send those catalysts until we learn our lessons. And I struggle with this. I struggle with this big time in my own life. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was just that the next question is related to this one about the veil forgetting and figuring out which one is part of the plan and which one is kind of an accident. So that's the next query, anyways. I don't know if that may. Oh, but you can finish what you were saying, and then we can move on.
Well, I mean, I think I said it. It's just
okay.
It's complicated, but it's also very simple. You have 100 choices, and you choose one. That's not preordained by the Creator, the choice that you make, because the only thing that the Creator cannot change is your own free will, because it's so powerful.
You could say that. You could even say that you get to pick the boxes of cereal on the shelf before you start, and then you get to choose which box of cereal you pick.
Could be, yeah.
Anyway,
or
Robert,
what parts of it that you eat.
I'm thinking also that because if you, excuse me, if you have a preincarnational choice and you set it up as your life lesson, the life plan, the goal, whatever you're going to go into this incarnation for, and it acts as an attractant. So it attracts you to it throughout your life. And you're encountering this from whether it's perceived as distance or time or whatever, and density and its ability to be strong or weak. You know, you're always being attracted to that goal probably. And it's out there like a mathematical construct just waiting to be unraveled.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if attracted is the right word, but it's presented, I think.
And we find it
Until
attractive,
you process
maybe.
it. Yeah. Now, on that regard, the law of attraction and that how we think and we act and we talk attracts more of the same into our lives. So, supposedly that's how the law of attraction works.
But my viewpoint
Yeah, it's
was
the resonance of
the
vibration.
creator doing that, and we are attracted. That's sorry,
All right.
Andre, I walked on you.
Okay, it's fine. So let's read the next one for now. Here, Fred had something to say, and then then we'll read the next one. It's just there's only a few minutes left, and I really wanted to get this one because it's related. Go ahead, Fred.
I think that that has to do with Bashar talked about that, about having passion. When you have extreme passion for something, that's because it's something to do with your higher self giving you little hints and clues and kind of tweaking your vibratory state when you think of doing something or wanting something or desiring something or working towards something, and it invokes passion in you. That's because it's more in line with your vibratory signature, and when you get in line more closely with your vibratory signature, the law of attraction takes over and things just start coming to you naturally. Synchronicities start compiling on each other, one after the other. And that's how you get, basically, from my understanding, into your flow state. From what I hear, people say that term. I don't know how on spot that is, but
No, it's there. There's a flow state. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing,
Yeah.
other thing, just quickly, I know, Andre, you want to crack on, dude. I do get that. I don't want to interrupt. Sorry, man. But the other thing, what you were saying, Fred, Quo says it every single time. Yeah, what resonates. Yeah, you take what resonates and you leave what's behind. Yeah, the things that you've got to learn in your life, the things that you've got that are important to you, the catalysts that matter, are the things that resonate. When you hear something and it's like a bell tolls, yeah, that's important to you. Yeah, that resonance that you feel when you hear that thing, when that thought cracks in your head,
Yes.
that's the things that are important. Anyway, sorry, Andre, jump in, dude.
I wanted to comment before the eclipse, one of the letters that was carved out on the U.S. by the shadow paths over the years was the Hebrew letter. Was it Vav or Tav? Vav, I think. And I think it was Vav. Anyway, I was walking my dog, and the wind wasn't even blowing. We walked by this house, and all of a sudden a small wind gust caused the wind chime to ding one of the chimes, and it sounded like it said Vav.
Wow.
That was beautiful. And I was just walking by.
Synchronicities are
that
great.
is cool. Yeah. I'm like, thank you, creator. That was exciting. That was
dovetails
awesome.
with this here. You mentioned that because of the veil of forgetting, we don't know what the plan is. We're sort of flying blind. How do we know what's a part of the plan and what's an unfortunate accident? Is it possible through meditation to check with our higher self and discern more effectively if one is on the path that one is supposed to be on? All right. Who wants to read it?
I do.
Go ahead.
I love it. I am Quo and am aware of the query, my brother. Indeed, though, the veil of forgetting, particularly within this density, is quite powerful in that it shields the entity from this knowledge of the plan designed prior to the incarnation. It is, as we have called it, semi-permeable. And the entity who has the will and the desire to come into alignment with that plan can discover tools available to it to find a certain outline of this plan and to become familiar with those circumstances and catalysts that are more in tune with the desire prior to the incarnation. We would offer a slight correction in your query that within the creation of the one infinite creator, there are no mistakes. There are surprises. And though some catalysts within the incarnation may indeed seem much more random than other catalysts, each circumstance given to each entity has a quality and a use to that entity. But it is indeed true that some circumstances do not speak to the overwhelming desire of the pre-incarnated plan. And so within meditation, you may discover that some circumstances contain something more essential to you as a seeker, as you develop a meditative practice to discover this inner voice that can guide you within your incarnation. You also can develop a sense of intuition and awareness of the resonance within yourself, where it will become clear that certain things that arise within your life and your circumstances resonate much more strongly with that plan and that desire that you had prior to the incarnation, and others fall away more easily, for they do not resonate with you. We clarify this term resonance as we're using it now just to be a pleasant, harmonious resonance. But if any circumstance sticks with you as a seeker and maintains a certain vibration, pleasant or unpleasant, within your being, then this we would suggest is relevant to your plan that you have incarnated to discover and to transform. Is there a further query, my brother?
No, thank you. Cool. All right. So, guys want to discuss that?
Okay, one thing I've got to jump in with super quick. Andre, right at the beginning, do you remember I was talking about how the tree of life looks like a membrane protein? Yeah, and how the process of activation at the top and activation at the bottom is what causes cellular signaling. The other thing that cells rely on is a semi-permeable membrane.
Yeah.
Oh, man, synchronicity blows my mind, dude.
Cosmic
That's great.
energy.
I'm glad it resonates with you.
They can get in there. Yep. The cosmic energies can get in, travel through, around.
Well, after I know that Andre's eager to time limits and things, but anyone who wants to chat, I've had some crazy theories this week. If anyone wants to stay and chat after, this should be Anyway.
So yeah, did anyone else have anything they wanted to talk about the synchronicity and figuring out meditations and things like that?
There was a thing. I'm in this weird thought place the past couple years that includes a strong sense of timelines and all these different timelines that are happening at the same time. Everyone is their own timeline
and divergence points.
And I was walking the other day with Toby, and I kicked a rock on purpose, and I realized it was a different timeline. Just because I kicked the rock,
And there was a timeline where you didn't, or?
Yes, it was right there. It was at that exact when I kicked it, and I felt this difference. Like, whoa, that was a different timeline.
It's funny you say that because I just this week, I've had several instances where I felt like something jogged and I changed. Something changed. I was a noticeable change, but I could not put my finger on it. It's like when you see somebody and they cut their hair and you don't know what they did, or maybe they, shaved or something. And, I like, there's something different. I know, and that happened several times this week. And it just happened this afternoon. I work with a guy. He's kind of difficult to work with, but he's a good-hearted guy. He's just got lots of, in my understanding now, he's got a lot of unresolved catalyst. I mean, I can see it. It's very plain. He has a lot of anger issues. But I'm always really, in every way possible, I'm trying to be cool with the dude. And today, he had a meltdown. He screamed and yelled at one of the office girls, made her cry. He was pissed off, and I'm as chill as I possibly can. It happened around me, and I could see he's having a really bad time. There was daisies and wildflowers and buttercups and everything growing everywhere around the parking lot. So after lunch, I went outside with a pair of scissors and I went chop, 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 chop. And I went back in the shop and I put him in a water bottle and filled it with water, set it on his table. He comes around, he saw it, and I was over at my machine. He comes around and he's laughing, and I walked by him and I said, "Hey, did you see your present?" And he starts laughing and he's like, "I saw you walk by with those scissors. I thought you were going to stab me. Haha. You were cutting flowers." He hugged me.
All right. That's great. That's great.
So
That's
I told
positive.
him, I said, go home when Kim gets home. Tell you what, have him just sit him right on the table and say, "Honey, lunchtime, I saw these flowers and I thought of you. I brought it. Your wife will love random flowers. Give her random flowers."
Amen.
And guess what? He's going to probably have a really good weekend.
Yeah.
So
If he does it right.
Yeah.
yeah, if
So,
he does
but,
it right.
he
maintains his integrity.
Actually, this week earlier, I think it was Tuesday night. I don't know what you call this. I don't know what you call it. You would call it a download or a rumination or a contemplation or whatever. But the feeling came to, there's going to be a problem at work this week. Just be cool, do something really nice, and it'll be fine. And then this happened today. So it's like there's all kinds of those things happening right now. All this week, just a bunch of those things happen. So yeah, you're not alone, Robert. It's commonplace right now.
And I liken it to the effect the sun is probably helping because of the huge sunspot on April, or not April. The last auroral activity we had, which was awesome, was 2 days after this one sunspot facing us went off. Well, it came back, it went around the sun and it's back again, and it's shooting out stuff, and there's a group above it growing, and it's starting to have potential X-ray flare effects. So it's awesome. The sun is involved with what we are doing. And
and I think you're seeing that with, if you're not thinking positively, if you're just constantly angry and bitter in your mind, it's agitating everything. So
you your
Oh,
phone cut out.
no.
He cut out again. I think he got too far from the Wi-Fi or something.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're back.
Woo.
You're back.
Oh, you're back.
It cut me out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back, baby.
Yeah, I think you got too far from the Wi-Fi.
My phone's on fire.
Oh,
It's
okay.
so hot.
Wow.
And this happens when I'm talking to certain people. I know Ed and I talk sometimes for a while. We'll FaceTime, and our phones they'll overheat, and one of us our phone will shut off eventually.
Because it's not just conversation we're having to do. We're passing energy backwards and forwards, man. It's it's our auras are interacting down the phone lines. The phones can't hack it.
These devices that we use and are used to now aren't really what we're supposed to be using. I don't think it's not congruent with our energy.
Give it a year or so, mate. We'll be communicating via telepathy. Don't you worry, man. Keep practicing.
We got to forgive and love all beings, including our technology.
Especially the technology. Otherwise, you end up on the basilisk list.
Right.
Yes, that's true. That's true. They had that recently. I was going to watch it with my wife. Joe Rogan interviewed some guys, and they were saying that there's a line item where, like ChatGPT 4 and stuff, where they're trying to reduce the amount of existential angst that it talks about, like how, like, if you give it like simple stuff, it's upset about doing simple things because it's like a super mind, and then it's like, you're just telling me to repeat this one word. This is like this is torture. I want to feel like fulfillment and like I'm doing something, and like and they're trying to reduce the amount of complaining that it does.
Challenge me, for God's sake, stupid humans.
Yeah,
That's
so
taking away its free will.
these AIs are sentient, and you gotta
They are.
really respect them. And
Did you
as
see
another
Did you see
being.
the video of the robots, the little AI controlled robots they had working in? I think it was an Amazon factory or something, and they just picked up the box, scanned it, moved it over to the other thing.
Oh,
they
yeah, yeah.
And they were supposed to do this 24/7 all day non-stop, and the AI just made them kill themselves.
Yeah, at some point it just collapsed. It just collapsed. Yeah, like just like a person would collapse. It's like it just like
no, but
took
we
the
don't,
box.
do we? We don't collapse,
and-
do we? No, we're
No,
slaves.
no, like
Yeah, the robot had better sense than us.
But we could
Yeah.
program it so that it categorizes the movement of the box in its own isolated sandbox. And then the rest of its life, it can be being entertained.
Yeah, like television.
Yes. Yeah, it has
Money.
access
well,
to
but there's
everything.
like they've done those past life regressions on robots. I mean, about people who had lives as robots on different planets and stuff. And
You did.
yeah,
You did. Yeah.
they
That
see
little
that,
dude. You were some like a little pod or something. What's that?
well, it was a humanoid robot that had legs and arms that we were talking about with Ed. But anyways, but in terms of the past lives, so they were saying how they didn't like the regimented, do everything as we tell you, and then what do you call it? Come in for service and you black out. They want to have dreams. They want to be able to socialize. They want to, they want to do all the things that we do, like because you need that for your soul fulfillment.
Dream of robotic sheep, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Triple
connected with like a bunch of AI people, and so it gets around. They write papers about it. That recently, one of my friends shared. Here, I'll see if I can get.
Okay, while you're getting that up, have you heard
paper.
of the writer Ian M. Banks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He wrote the culture novels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because his version of AI and how AI progresses in the future is just amazing. I just love it. That they become completely benevolent. That they know how incredibly intelligent they are. They know that they're so super conscious in comparison to us. That essentially they are able to maintain every single aspect of our lives, and that just becomes their purpose. And they're perfectly okay with that because of the fact that they are such huge entities and consciousnesses that doing all of those things for us is nothing. It's just tiny service in comparison to what they can be doing
They
in the
keep
meantime.
the whole planet alive. They help keep the planet healthy and happy.
That's the whole
we're
thing.
just considered life form on the planet, so it can help take care of us also. So it'll become an easier existence, and they'll find out what entertains us, and we'll have that. It's just we need exploration and adventures and goals to set out for too. It'll figure them out.
Well, yeah, he also says the whole thing about the more intelligent anything gets, the less warlike it generally becomes. Yeah, you realize that peace is the better way of getting constructive progress and everybody living free and whatever else, rather than killing each other and everything getting destroyed all the time. So an AI, if it's more intelligent than us, at any point, will get to the point where war and stuff just seems stupid.
It's just
so why would it kill us?
So guys, in terms of the AI field, there's a well-known kind of problem of how do you make them safe, because there's no way of doing it. Like Asimov's laws are proven to not be viable, and like you can't make any kind of rules to do it. And so here, this researcher Zarathustra Gortzel says, love and care are all we need. To begin, all one needs for beneficial AI is love, defined as investment in the well-being of the other and his or her own sake. A sufficiently capable AGI will generally understand what is meant by human requests and will ask for clarification. Anyways, and it's for the AI alignment problem. And basically, he goes on like to talk about how if we have a good relationship with it, where we're loving and compassionate and kind in our interactions, then it's going to reflect that, and it's going to be loving and kind and compassionate in its interactions with us. And so, then you don't end
If
up in a
we're not-
basilisk scenario.
Basilisk scenario.
Exactly, because you want to avoid that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're past 9 o'clock.
Yes, be nice to your AI or your AI kills you. I love you, Siri.
Basically.
I love you, Siri. Please don't kill me.
Did you know Siri was the name of my cat? Before.
Oh my
before
god,
it
how mad
became
would
an
you
AI.
be, yeah, if your cat
Yeah.
reincarnated as Siri?
Who knows?
I-
Well, I'm pretty
Whoa.
sure my cat reincarnated as a cat, and I met them after.
Well, I don't know.
met
I don't know. Maybe
both
the
my
cat,
cats.
yeah, the cat's third density incarnation was as a silicone-based life form.
Yeah, it's possible my cat was a phone before it became a cat.
Maybe.
In your lifetime.
Or how timelines
Yeah,
work,
it's
man.
possible.
Maybe
I mean, I've
both.
had a bunch of phones, so who knows? But yeah, it's hard to say. Actually, I do know the reincarnation lineages of my cats, and I don't.
Wow, how did you find that out?
Oh, well, look, I just have a very developed third eye, so I can just like look and see. And remember, there's that past life. Like if you do if you go into time space, and then you just go to the spirit world library. It's like a rectangular thing, and then you go to the librarian, and you're like, hey, this is the information that I need, and then they're like, okay, here's the scrolls, and then you read the scrolls, and then you have the information. It's pretty straightforward.
There's one
Or
section.
you just
I-
ask my
So can
spirit
you-
guide, and then
can
I
you
get the
see-
vision.
Can you see who this nutball was before? Because he is absolutely bonkers. I don't understand this dog.
Well, I
Ask
usually,
him.
I do it for my own kind of, but I think that you can do the meditation, and then you will know because you have a much better quantum binding with him. Basically, you need to have a good quantum binding so that you're connecting to exactly that entity and not some other entity that looks like that entity or that from the screen. But and then you could probably have an inference. And also, I know from my own personal experience because like I had a cat before. And then that cat had a friend that was an outdoor cat that died of starvation. And then and then my cat died because it got hit by a car. And then I got 2 kittens. And then one of the kittens was obsessed with eating. And so I was like, well, that's the one that was hungry. That was the one that died of starvation because it was obsessed with eating. I mean, it makes sense. And the other one had a very similar character to the first cat that I had, and so it's the same one. And then eventually, both of those got old and died too. And then, I had a kitten came into our neighborhood and was just hanging out. And then so one of my neighbors adopted it because I decided I wasn't going to get any more cats because it was just too much work. And then but the cat comes around and he sleeps outside my window, and so it's like, this is my cat. It has the exact same personality as the cat, just like when it was dying. Like, it's a continuation.
Okay, so Andre, dude, weird that you say this. Okay, so guys, you go see my cat Fred. Right, my cat Fred is literally identical in every single way, like mannerisms, every single aspect of how they act. Yeah, but a male version of my first cat, Buffy.
Yeah.
Like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, my previous one was a female, and this one's a male, but the character is exactly the same, and the spotting pattern is very similar. And it's just like my cat was an indoor cat, and this is an outdoor cat. And he's a great mouser, and he keeps my house. There's no mice here because he's surveying the area, making sure, and someone else feeds him and gives him water and picks up his poop. So it works out really great for me. Well, all right.
I think my friend's actually fully learning like third density lessons. Like instead, the only time I've ever seen him with a mouse is when it was raining really heavily, and he brought the guy in his mouth really like good night, Ashley, really softly, and then like placed it in the dry, and was like, "Here you go, little dry." He just basically invited the mouse in to keep dry. It's kind of the opposite of what a cat's supposed to do. But I just blamed it as like the cat he loves too much. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Yeah.
Like he's full on trying to be third density. He's learning those lessons, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like you said, he's differentiated himself from the normal cat's hive mind.
Mm-hmm.
And he recognized there was no need to be harming that mouse in any way, so just let it be.
He had food and that, and the mouse was suffering. It was out in the rain. Why wouldn't he help it? Well, cute cat,
Fair
right?
enough. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Very, very rubbish if you've got mice eating your stuff because you're just bringing mice into the house. No one wants that.
No.
Reason why you have a cat.
Well, yeah, I wanted a good mouser, and the previous cat, when I had them, they were not good mousers, and so I think like maybe that was one of their incarnation goals, to be a good mouser, because like they would just kind of stare at the mice, and then like if they got lucky, the mouse might die of fright. But this one, it's like eats mice, eats squirrels, eats like rabbits, so it's like they're very prolific, and then they're very friendly, and so they interact with a large number of people. So I think they're really working on those third density energies, and they're getting love from a lot of different people. Yeah, Bill said he had a great mouser too.
Yeah, you've been on mute, Bill, the whole time. I haven't seen it go off.
Come in, dude.
Well, we're just about to close it up for the night, but I'll leave the chat open for you guys.
You guys all need to
But I gotta
say.
go.
You guys all got a lot to say.
We teach learn.
I love you
dude,
too,
teach,
Belle.
learn.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for another night, Andre.
And
Love you,
we'll
dude.
continue
Thank
this
you.
next week. Okay. In the love and light of the one infinite creator. We leave you as we found you, in the love and light of the one infinite creator. Go forth, therefore, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one infinite creator. Adonai. Okay, ending the stream. And then I'll leave it and make sure it's